Hey everybody, it's Colin Martin. It's time for another edition of Hump Day Highlight. We are excited to have Bren Briggs with the Eden Project for a special Veterans Day edition of Hump Day Highlight. Bren, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. It's great to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. Tell us about the Eden Project. What do you all do for veterans there at the Eden Project?
Sure. So we're going on our 5th year serving Fayette County and the surrounding area. Our primary focus is helping veterans and their families reintegrate. And that sounds like a really funny, colorful word, and it's, people have to throw it around. But basically, getting out of the military service isn't easy for everybody. And we try and help with that transition however people might need it. So whether it's work, the social aspect, we do what we can to help them reintegrate back into, a normal life.
So what does that mean practically? I mean, what kind of programs do you have there to help these soldiers and their families reintegrate in the civilian world?
Sure. Our number one thing that's it's a proprietary program we developed, like I said, about 6 years ago. We developed a peer-to-peer program. So, no one knows veterans like another veteran. So we take senior mentors, people that have been through this process already, and they, partner along with other guys and gals and help them, navigate this reintegration process. So probably the number one thing is our peer program. But we have 20 plus partners. So depending on what a veteran needs, if it's not a peer thing that they're looking for, then we find them a partner that specializes in what their needs are.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So let's talk about the veteran community. I can't remember the number you told me, but within a certain radius of Fayetteville, there's a pretty large number of veterans. What's that number?
It's a crazy number. And when I say this, people that have been here for a long time still have a hard time understanding it. If you drew a 30-mile circle around Fayetteville, there's over 178,000 veterans that live in that 30-mile radius. Now, that's not a Bren Briggs or an Eden Project number. That's what the Department of Georgia Services and the VA tell us live here.
Wow, that's a big veteran population.
It is.
And that's fantastic. So, when veterans are getting out, their number one priority is to get a job. Yep. As true of all of us. I mean, do you all have help for veterans in finding employers?
Sort of. We have people who we've partnered with that know how to look for veterans and really are seeking specific veteran employees. So we've been real careful who we partner with, and I think we've got some great teammates to help veterans go from the military. And it doesn't have to be a soldier. They can be Marines, sailors, airmen. They can be anybody. But we do have partners that'll help them into the business.
So you have a pretty special relationship with Judge Jason Thompson. Tell us about the relationship you developed and what's going on there.
Sure. A few years ago, it wasn't my idea, but I saw other communities had a veterans treatment court. So I put together a packet and thought that it was going to be a really hard sell to the community. And I got on Judge's calendar and I was all prepared to make this big pitch. And I said, hey, I'd love to do a veterans treatment court. Here's what it is. And they're like, okay. I'm like, no, wait, but here's what I need to do. And they were already, they had already been working the same thing simultaneously. So it's been a little over a year now. We've had a veterans treatment court, and the Eden Project provides all the mentors for the treatment court.
Well, that's fantastic. Y'all do incredible work over there trying to help our veterans, and we're trying to make sure that veterans feel welcome in Fayette County. I know they do, but we want to make sure they know they're welcome here.
Right.
I think once they arrive here, they know they've got a community to support, but we want to make sure that when they're thinking about coming to a community, they know they've got a place to land. So this is to use an Army term, this is an LZ friendly forum to come to. So,
yeah, right.
Anyway, so let's talk about, we do this with every single guest we have, a hero, a highlight, and what they're hopeful for. So we'll start with, who's your hero?
You know, when I saw the questions, I've never really had a hero. I have a group that I tend to lean towards. I've always loved the underdog, so I'm always rooting for it, and I put the underdog category probably as my hero. But with one person, if I was going to name one person, it would probably be my daughter. A couple of years ago, she was diagnosed with scoliosis, and it was a pretty severe case of scoliosis. So they put 2 rods in her back, and I've had a few surgeries, so I know, what she was going to be facing. She never flinched, never argued, said, "All right, let's get this done." She came out of the surgery, and the doctor said, "All right, I need you to walk 10 steps." Well, she walked those 10 steps, and she said, I'm going to do 10 more and 10 more. So she continued to just push and push and push herself, never complained. I know there's a lot of pain, never complained about the pain. She just pushed her way through it. So there's days when, sometimes as adults, we have pains and we kind of feel like we don't want to be doing stuff. I look back at that little, 10, 11-year-old girl and say, man, if she can do it, I'm going to do it too.
Well, that's a great story, and my my back hurt just when you said what they
Right.
did. Wow. So I hope she's doing well now.
She's doing great. Yeah, it's been a really cool procedure. Things are straightened. She's virtually, at 100% like she's supposed to be.
Wow, that's great news. That's fantastic news. So talk about a highlight. What's been a highlight from either your personal life or your career that you're particularly proud of?
Wow. There's a lot of them. Actually, retiring was a huge highlight. After you spend 28 years doing one thing, when that comes to an end, it's kind of an emotional moment. But I was blessed that I had something to step into or something to move on to. So I would say a highlight probably would have been my retirement for sure.
Yeah, well, and thank you for serving. I know you had service both in the Marine Corps as an enlisted man, and then you came back to the came to the Army and was an officer. Did you get hard stripes in the Marines?
Did I get what?
Hard stripes. I mean, did you make Lance Corporal and above when you were in the Marines?
Yes, I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps. So I was an NCO, and I got the blood stripe as an NCO. And then back in the 90s, when they cut the military, the Marine Corps was cut in half. And what I was doing, I was in the infantry. But believe it or not, they cut the infantry in half as well. I spent about a year trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and ended up with a direct commission in the Army.
Well, I ended my military career at about that time, so I know exactly what you speak.
Yep.
I remember that very well. So, and what did you do in the Army?
I did a lot. So the first probably 10 years I was in counterterrorism. When the towers came down, they stood up a lot of different type of jobs, and one job that I loved was counterterrorism. I was on a 22-man team, and we responded to things that were going on here in the U.S. And it's probably a good thing that people don't know the kind of stuff that's going on our own soil, but that's what we responded to.
Wow. Wow. So what are you hopeful about in the future?
This is one I'm pretty excited about. It's one of those, it's a really cool thing that I'm excited. I just can't share it yet. So I'll say the future is what I'm excited about. You're a big part of what we've got going on. I had a big meeting today that I'm dying to share with you. It's something we're bringing here to Fayetteville. And if it works out like it looks like it's going to, it's truly going to be a game changer.
Yeah, well, if it's here to grow our community and help veterans, I am on board. That's
Indeed.
all you got to tell me.
It's both.
So, yeah, well, that's then we're in good shape. Well, Bren, seriously, thanks for what you do. I know you spend an awful lot of time, not just from 8 to 5, but really 24/7, working on these issues and leading the Eden Project and engaging people in what y'all are doing. You're really doing the Lord's work, and I just want to tell you, I personally appreciate it, and I know there's a lot of people in Fayette County who appreciate what you do. So So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your service to our nation. And I want you to know how much we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity, and back at you, thanks for your service as well.
Well, mine was a minor little, I had a cup of coffee basically, but anyway, well, folks, that wraps up this edition of Hump Day Highlight. Today is Veterans Day. Please take a moment to thank a veteran for their service. And the great news is that in Fayette County, we have a lot of them. And it's not hard to find a veteran and to thank them for their service. And I will say this too, if you are looking for an organization support with either your time, your talent, or your treasure, there's one called the Eden Project that will gladly take all three. So I want to urge you to go to their website, the Eden Project, and there's no amount too small, but there's also no amount too big. So thank you all for being here. We will see you next week.